Good evening and many thanks for joining us. You're watching QTV and we're broadcasting live from our studios on Carawa Avenue. This is the news with me, Answana Isonyasi. Here are the main news headlines. From his Meet-People tour, President Adama Barrow visited the University of the Gambia Faraba Banta campus on Wednesday to see the progress of the construction work. Also, President Barrow has assured Gambians of his government's support to mechanize agriculture for food self-sufficiency after inaugurating a milling machine at Jahali Pacha. Satya Rhodes Conway, the mayor of Madison City in Wisconsin, USA, and her Gambian counterpart Talib Ahmed Bensouda on Tuesday visited the Bakau Women's Garden and Fish Market. In international news, following a thorough scrutiny and consideration, members of the ECOWAS Parliament have adopted the report of its ad hoc committee on the community draft consolidated budget at its ongoing 2022 second ordinary session in Nigeria. Well, stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. Now, from his Meet-People tour, President Adama Barrow visited the University of the Gambia Faraba Banta campus on Wednesday to see the progress of the construction. President Barrow is pleased that the University of the Gambia is soon to be hosted at its permanent campus in Faraba Banta next year. Mohamed Lamin Choi reports.
President Adama Barrow visits the University of the Gambia Faraba Banta campus, having visited it more than a year ago. Taken on a guided tour to the project site, he has seen a marked difference from that previous visit.
With the team, Sakusi and Pace as the consultant, I think they are doing a very, very good job. Because I visited this place, I think, more than 1 year ago. But today, it's a big, big difference. This is first-class infrastructure, permanent structures. And this is the way we are thinking, and this is part of our policies, it's part of our NDP, to make sure we develop higher education in this country. We graduate our people in this country, build capacity moving forward.
Lot 1 of the first phase of the project is now in its finishing stages. It includes some of the most populated subjects in the University of the Gambia, who are still faced with accommodation challenges for their lectures. The faculty buildings that are in the finishing stages are the schools of business and public administration, arts and sciences, education and information technology and communications. A library, staff villas and roadway systems, parking and utilities are also part of Lot 1 of the project.
We are targeting to finish by the end of the year. We are now trying to choose a date to inaugurate. That is the first part of the project. And we will launch the second part of the project. We have secured all the funding with our partners. So we are happy with the progress, and we are happy that we are now finishing our final home, a permanent home for the university that we call the University of the Gambia.
The UTG Faraba Banta project is described by the Higher Education Ministry as being, quote-unquote, one of the problematic projects inherited from the former government, which has faced serious challenges even before the start of constructions in 2017. Identified as the most critical challenge is the payment of the counterpart funding by the Gambia government.
When I came to power, this project was at 1%. So it's from 1% I took over this project. There are a lot of complications, a lot of technical issues. But my government and the former Minister of Works, by Lamin Job, we came together, put our heads together to sort out all the technical problems that they are affecting the project. That's why today, now we are all happy. We are looking forward to inaugurating this project and launching the second phase.
The second lot of the first phase will see the construction of a chancery building, and additional faculty buildings for the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Faculty of Law, and construction of a 6-kilometer, 2.5-meter high perimeter wall. The modern university campus at Faraba Banta is located on the Mandilaba-Soma route, approximately 40 kilometers from the capital, Banjul. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Now, also, President Barrow has assured Gambians of his government's support to mechanize agriculture for food self-sufficiency. He was speaking after inaugurating a milling machine at Marus Farms in Jahaliparcha during his Meet the People tour. Juldenjai has more.
The Gambia is primarily an agricultural country with an estimated 70% of the population depending on agriculture for its food and cash income. In addition, agriculture accounts for about 32% of the gross domestic product and approximately 90% of the export earnings. President Barrow, accompanied by the Minister of Agriculture, China's ambassador to the Gambia and other cabinet ministers, was taking to a tour of the Marus Farms and the newly installed rice milling machine, which can mill up to 30 bags per hour. The Gambian leader also received hybrid seeds, which is part of the agriculture cooperation between the People's Republic of China and the Gambia. The project has donated 9 tons of purified inbred rice seeds and 6 tons of rice to the Ministry of Agriculture. Also, over 1,000 local farmers, agricultural technicians and college students benefited from the technical training under the cooperation. At this event in Pacha, there was also an exhibition of various farming machinery to promote the mechanization of rice production and food security in the country. Speaking to journalists, President Barrow shares his impression of the project.
We are producing 15. If we increase our production to 30, then we will be 100% with this hybrid. So this is very, very important, and I'm very impressed with what I have seen. If you look at the milling machine, it's separate into 3 different types. 100% broken, 50% and 75%. And this is all the same machine doing it at the same time. So that is industrialization. Having seen this, I think now I am really encouraged that we can do it in a very short period of time, especially with the coming of Mohamed Jah. He is also involved, and he wants to start with 10 hectares, and he will be doing this 10 hectares 3 times. That means 30 hectares. With that, with this hybrid, we can be self-sufficient in rice production.
While acknowledging the immense role played by Mohamed Jah, CEO of Q Group towards Gambia's development, President Barrow called on others to join the crusade in promoting agriculture.
Let us produce enough rice. We are producing coals, we are producing groundnut, we are not producing rice. But government is ready to support, and the private sector also is there to complement government efforts. Private sector like Musa, private like Mohamed Jah, who are also coming up, and we are calling on other private sector, other business people to come and join and complement government efforts.
The president is optimistic that Gambia will be food self-sufficient with the help of China.
The 2 governments tried, they failed, but I think we will succeed, because with this hybrid, 10 tons per hectare, that is huge. So we just have to be focused, and we have to do everything in place, put our hands together, put our heads together. With the support of the Chinese, we can be self-sufficient within a year or more.
There was also an exhibition of local foods made from rice to add value to local products. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
Now, Satya Rhodes Conway, the mayor of Madison City in Wisconsin, USA, and her Gambian counterpart Talib Ahmed Bensouda on Tuesday visited the Baka Women's Garden and Bakote Fish Market as part of the visiting mayor's week-long mission to the Gambia. Usman G. Dabo tells us more.
Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway, accompanied by representatives from Madison Area Council and experts in various fields, visited the Baka Women's Garden, where she was welcomed by the women singing traditional songs in their melodious voices. This 15-hectare garden is used by 525 women who grow varieties of crops and vegetables to earn a living. Papia Baji, The Director of Regional Urban Agricultural Directorate highlights the success of the Waste Aid Management Project, which the KMC collaborated with the Baka women.
It has been very effective because all the waste management that they've gathered and they've processed it into manure has been utilized by the women in their vegetable production. 2 gardens have been selected, that is Mile 7 here and then Bakote in my area, to be as a pilot for this project.
Aja Salinjai, the president of Baka Women Garden, explains some of their challenges.
Some of our challenges in this garden include a lack of water. We do not have enough wells and find it so challenging to get water. Also, after harvesting our produce, some of them get spoiled because we do not have any storage facilities where we can keep them. Lacking a toilet is also another challenge. All our toilets are no longer in good conditions. Seeds and fertilizers remain a burden for us too. We really need help with at least some of these things. The women are really suffering in this garden. This is where we get money to pay school fees for our children and other basic needs.
Binta Jane, the Deputy Mayor of Kanifi Municipal Council, and Lamin Diba, the Councillor for Bakau Old Cape Point Ward, both appeal for support to help these women in their agricultural activities.
So we need to support these women to have marketing for their vegetable crops. To support them, they need assistance from the Madison people who are right out there.
Women, that's where they used to have their produce and then sell it and to pay their children's school fees and to feed their family. So by supporting them, it means, as the Deputy Mayor said, you support the whole nations.
Samba Balde, Wisconsin State Representative, has sought the women of his council's support.
So thank you very much. Keep doing what you are doing. I understand what you are doing. This is how most of us were educated through subsistence farming. So we know the challenges that you have faced, and we will do everything possible to make sure that life is better for you, productivity goes up, and also you get the fertilizer that you need to make sure that you have quality crops.
Mayor Ross Conway, while presenting gifts to these hard-working women, encourages them to keep up the good work they are doing. At the back of the fish market, the delegation toured the facilities and viewed the new project document for the construction of a modern market. The visit of Mayor Ross Conway is part of efforts to further strengthen the existing bilateral relations between the Kanifi Municipal Council and Madison City, Wisconsin. For QTV News, Osman G. Dabo.
And that report there by Usman G. Dabo will lead us to the commercial break, but we will be right back.
Under the auspices of the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, the Muslim World League, in collaboration with the Gambia government, will host a conference of African religious ministers and ulamas on the 6th of December 2022. The International Islamic Conference will bring together ministers of religious affairs, leading Islamic scholars, policymakers, youths, community leaders across Africa to discuss and advance Islamic values that promote peace and tolerance. Let's come together and welcome our brothers and sisters in keeping with our trademark hospitality as the smiling coast of Africa. This message is brought to you by the ministry responsible for religious affairs in collaboration with the Gambia OIC Secretariat.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Welcome back from the commercial break. Be reminded you're watching QTV News and we're broadcasting live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Now, Sidi Keita, the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, told lawmakers on Friday that all economic forecasts indicate that 2023 will be very challenging. He was speaking during his introduction of the 2023 appropriation bill, otherwise known as the budget speech. More in this report. The Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs, Sidi Keita, began the budget speech by highlighting the impact of the pandemic, the disruption in the global supply chain, and the Russia-Ukraine war on the economy. He says these are the main factors that have dampened development prospects. He further reveals that because of these factors, the country for the first time recorded a double-digit increase in inflation, a level not registered in the last 20 years. However, he says this is not unique to the Gambia, as the rest of the world continues to grapple with the impact of the pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war, and the disruption in the global supply chain. And citing indications from all major economic forecasts, he predicts that the year 2023 may be even more challenging.
With Russia and Ukraine being major commodity producers, the supply chain disruptions triggered by closure of major seaports in the region increased prices significantly, eroded real incomes, and consequently affected demand. The ripple effects of these manifested in the domestic economy, pushing inflation to double digits for the first 9 months of 2022, a level that the Gambia has not experienced in the last 20 years. As we face these unprecedented times and global challenges with effects being felt in households across the country, the government has intervened through various channels, using both fiscal and monetary policy tools. With that said, it is imperative to note that it has been a challenging task striking a balance between fighting the negative impact of the crisis, especially on the population, and keeping the economy on a sustained growth path. Similar to the basic commodities, the global oil price hikes translated to unbearable domestic fuel price hikes, which triggered the need for government to provide subsidies to the tune of $1.3 billion in the first 3 quarters of 2022 to ease the effects of underpopulation.
Furthermore, the minister reveals that to curb the impact of the unprecedented global economic challenges and the weak national economic performance, which have been relatively weak in 2022 compared to the year 2021, government had intervened to lessen the impact by subsidizing key sectors of the economy and tightening monetary policy stance.
The government has intervened through various channels, using both fiscal and monetary policy tools. With that said, it is imperative to note that it has been a challenging task striking a balance between fighting the negative impact of the crisis, especially on the population, and keeping the economy on a sustained growth path.
Speaking to QTV following the Finance Minister's budget speech, National Assembly member for Wuli East, Honorable Swaibu Ture, shared his thoughts regarding key highlights in the minister's speech.
As I said, the economy that I have, I would not say what he is saying is not true, because what he is saying is that we are likely to be impacted by those problems. Because we have still not, from the budget, I've not seen anything there that shows me that we've taken a new direction to be able to build our economy in an independent, interdependent way, to the extent that we will not suffer as much in terms of food. As you can see right now, what we are importing, just rice alone, is costing us about $5 billion.
Meanwhile, Minister Keita reveals revenue measures to be taken by government in 2023, which includes increase in excise tax on tobacco, revision of immigration fees of non-Gambians, introduction of an ad valorem tax of 5% on used tires, amongst others. Ad valorem taxes are based on the assessed value of the item being taxed.
The tax expenditure has been an area of concern for the ministry, and intentional steps have been taken to carefully assess its magnitude, develop solid plans to work on a framework to curtail and better manage this going forward.
The Finance Minister reaffirms government's commitment to intensifying resource mobilization starting from 2023 for the NDP and Vision 2050. He says this will serve as anchors for development efforts in the medium term and inform the public investment program as well as regional development strategies. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News. Now, the Association of Gambian Sailors, in partnership with University of Science, Engineering and Technology USHED, held a graduation ceremony on Thursday for 100 sailors at GTTI in Joswan. Here is Suleiman Dabo.
These graduates are the first to have undergone such a training at an accredited institution in the Gambia. According to Abdou Sanyang, the Secretary General of the Association of Gambian Sailors, the association was formed in 1994. Since then, training its members in maritime has always been the central focus. These 100 students have just completed 2 weeks of intensive training. Mr. Sanyang describes the work they do as dangerous and thus the need for training for would-be sailors.
One good reason for this danger is the nature of the workplace, the fishing boat. Fishing boats are mobile platforms floating in an environment that is alien to human nature, waters. They are subjected to constant and often cramped, dammed, and at best unsanitary situations. Most often, sailors work under deck in hazardous conditions because of the slippery decks, sharp knives, poor lighting and ventilations.
Most of the graduates are young people. Bakari Baji, the Minister of Youth and Sports, discloses that the Barrow administration is aware of the demographic importance of the youth population and is committed to do all it takes to support them.
As a ministry in charge of youth affairs and the government, and as a government, we are cognizant of these challenges confronting Gambian young people, and we stand ready to provide the policy environment and, where possible, the necessary funding to support young people through this most difficult phase of their lives.
Minister Baji also invited the graduating youths through the Association of Gambian Sailors to dialogue on the immediate financial needs of members in getting self-employed or being employed. Since most sailors work in the seas, the Director of Fisheries, Anna Mbenga Cham, talked about the importance of the skills these graduates acquired and how those skills can change their lives. While these students completed 2 weeks training, a 9-month training course in the same area was announced, and potential students are encouraged to enroll. In fact, according to Secretary General Sanyang, their objective is to have sailors trained to degree-level courses.
This training will enable our sailors to perform national and international postings. It is a requirement of the mandatory standards of competence and other mandatory provisions that all seafarers shall be trained and adequately experienced, skilled, and competent to perform their duties.
Important partners such as the Gambia Maritime Administration were present at the ceremony. The administration partnered with GTTI, now USET, to initiate and fund this course and pledged to continue doing just that. The graduates were awarded certificates of completion of the 2 weeks intensive training. Suleiman Dabo for QTV News.
And now on to international news in a moment. Following a thorough scrutiny and consideration, members of the ECOWAS Parliament have adopted the report of its ad hoc committee on the community draft consolidated budget of over 418 million unit of account at its ongoing 2022 second ordinary session in Abuja, Nigeria. Alusise is covering the session and he now reports.
On 24th November 2022, the Administration and Finance Committee, AFC, of ECOWAS presented a draft 2023 consolidated community budget to the ECOWAS Parliament for its consideration. Consequently, the Parliament referred it to an ad hoc committee set up by the plenary in accordance with the Parliament's rule of procedure. The ad hoc committee's report presented both the budget performance as at 30th September 2022, the draft 2023 consolidated community budget for 2023 fiscal year, and the projections for years 2024 and 2025 in conformity with the medium-term expenditure framework. The draft consolidated community budget for the year 2023, as recommended by Administration and Finance Committee of ECOWAS, is balanced in income and expenditure at 418,072,408 UA, which is an increase of about 24,460,009 UA representing 6% when compared to the approved budget of 2022 of the sum of 393,612,400 UA. The budget focuses on 4 strategic objectives, which are enhanced peace and security, deeper regional integration, good governance, and inclusive and sustained development. 43.4% of the 2023 budget will come from community levy of 181,431,403 UA, while 25% will come from external funding of 104,551,716. As of 30th September 2022, a total of 179,957,853 units of account was recorded as community levy proceeds for member states, based on the available bank statements received by the Commission. Of this figure, the Gambia deposited 980,108 units of account. Honorable Alaji S. Dabo, the National Assembly member for Brikama North and a member of the Gambia's delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, is hopeful the budget will be spent on addressing the pressing concerns in the sub-region. Nonetheless, he has some concerns.
Apart from the community level at 43.40%, the Commission is highly dependent on external funding, that is 25.001%, and areas of contributions are not forthcoming. This is of concern. The countries that are found wanting, especially that are not paying their areas or their levy, Burkina, Cape Verde, and then Guinea. One can understand Guinea had been under sanction, but for Cape Verde, since 2017, they are not being paying their levy. That means they are not complying with the protocol on levy.
Budget allocation were made to the ECOWAS Parliament, the ECOWAS Court of Justice, the West African Health Organization, the Intergovernmental Group Against Money Laundering, GIABA, the Office of the Auditor General, special programs and interventions in member states, and peace and security. Reporting for QTV News from Abuja, Nigeria, I am Aliou Cisse.
And I'm afraid from that report there by Aliou Cisse in Abuja, that's all about it for this edition. Thanks for watching.